Some dolls just sit on shelves. Others are blamed for accidents, scratches, even death. One of them is locked away in a glass case sealed with the words, "Positively do not open." That's Annabelle, the doll tied to violent attacks and fatal car crashes. But the other? You can walk into a store and buy it right now. Owners swear it moves at 3 a.m., whispers words like "tonight," and even comes back after being thrown out or burned. That's the Labubu doll. So here's the question. Which doll is worse? The one history had to lock away forever, or the one still sitting quietly in bedrooms around the world? And before we dive in, make sure you hit subscribe. Every week, I bring you true horror stories that prove nightmares aren't fiction. They're already here. Annabelle, the doll that had to be locked away. Annabelle's story isn't just Hollywood. It began in 1970 in Hartford, Connecticut. A nursing student named Donna was given a Raggedy Ann doll by her mother. At first, it was just a decoration in her apartment, until things started happening that she couldn't explain. Small movements. Donna and her roommate Angie swore Annabelle changed positions while they were out. Sometimes it sat cross-legged on the couch. Other times it stood against a chair. Nobody else had keys. Written notes. Weeks later, they began finding scraps of parchment paper in the apartment, with childlike handwriting scrawled across them. Words like "help us" and "help Lou." Neither of the women kept parchment in the house. Lou's attack. Angie's fiancé Lou hated the doll. One night he woke up to find Annabelle at the foot of his bed. He claimed she moved up his body, strangling him. He couldn't breathe until he passed out. When he woke, there were deep red scratches across his chest. That was the breaking point. They called in a priest who contacted paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens concluded the doll wasn't possessed by a dead child as the women first believed, but by an inhuman spirit pretending to be one, seeking to possess the living. The Warrens performed an exorcism on the apartment, then took Annabelle back with them. But the activity didn't stop. Car incident. On the way home, their car swerved and brakes failed multiple times until Ed doused Annabelle in holy water. Warren Occult Museum. She was eventually locked in a custom-built glass case with a sign, "Warning, positively do not open." Even in that case, stories continued. Visitors who mocked Annabelle reportedly crashed on their way home. One man laughed, banged on the glass, and told her to prove she was real. Hours later, he was dead in a motorcycle accident. Another priest who visited lifted the doll out of her case and declared her powerless. Lorraine warned him to be careful. On his drive home, his brakes failed and his car was destroyed. He barely survived. For decades, Annabelle sat in that case untouched. Today, after the Warren Museum closed, the doll is reportedly stored under tight protection at the Warren family's care, still locked in her case. Annabelle's story is chilling because it's been documented not once but multiple times by different witnesses who had nothing to gain from admitting what they saw. She's been linked to physical injuries, vehicle accidents, and violent outbursts. That's why people fear her. But Annabelle is locked away, out of reach. Labubu isn't. Labubu, the doll collectors swear, moves on its own. Labubu couldn't be more different. It's not tied to religion, folklore, or occult investigations. It's a designer art toy made by Pop Mart, popular across Asia, Europe, and the US. Sold in blind boxes for around $15 to $20. Cute, creepy. Marketed as collectible. But collectors began reporting something else. Stories shared on forums, TikTok, and Facebook groups paint the same disturbing pattern. The 3 a.m. movement reports owners swear Labubu dolls fall from shelves or appear closer to their beds. always between 2:59 and 3:15 a.m. One viral Reddit post described a Labubu found on the owner's pillow 2 nights in a row. Whispers. Unlike Annabelle, which only left notes, Labubu is tied to whispers. Owners report hearing faint words like "tonight" or "look at me" when the doll is nearby. In one case, a collector claimed the whisper delayed their routine just enough that they avoided being at an intersection where a fatal accident happened minutes later, refusing to stay gone. Perhaps the most disturbing part, people swear Labubu comes back. Owners report throwing them away, burning them, even dumping them in dumpsters, only to find them back on shelves, porches, or closets the next morning. CCTV glitches. Multiple collectors have claimed their cameras glitch around Labubu. One clip circulated in 2023 showing a Labubu box sealed on a shelf. The feed cuts for 2 seconds. When it returns, the box is still there, but the doll is sitting outside of it, upright, facing the camera. Labubu is mass-produced, yet stories from different countries describe the same phenomena. The midnight thud, the doll advancing closer, the whispers, and its refusal to be discarded. The difference? Annabelle was a single doll. Labubu is mass-owned, mass-produced, which means if even one of these stories is true, thousands of people might be living with the same problem right now. If these Labubu encounters gave you chills, smash like. It helps get this video out to more people and maybe warn someone before they buy one. Annabelle versus Labubu. Movement. Annabelle documented moving across rooms, standing, repositioning herself. Labubu reported falling from shelves but always closer to the bed, more personal, more invasive. Annabelle moves bigger, but Labubu moves smarter. Whispers or communication. Annabelle only left handwritten notes on parchment. Never spoke. Labubu. Multiple owners report hearing faint whispers. Words like "tonight" or "no." The intimacy of whispers makes Labubu encounters far more personal. Labubu wins this category. Consequences. Annabelle. Linked to accidents, deaths, motorcycle crashes. Clear severe consequences for mocking or disrespecting it. Labubu. No confirmed deaths, but multiple reports of scratches, delayed warnings, and life-altering near misses. Annabelle's curse is heavier, but Labubu feels more accessible. A danger that could show up in anyone's bedroom. Accessibility. Annabelle, locked away forever. Labubu. For sale in malls, blind boxes, and online, Labubu wins because you can bring the problem into your house today. So, which doll is worse? Annabelle is history's curse. A doll investigated by priests, locked in a museum, blamed for accidents and death. Labubu is today's risk. Mass-produced, owned by thousands, still showing up in real-world encounters. If Annabelle is the most cursed doll in history, Labubu is the most dangerous one you could actually own. Because Annabelle is locked in glass, and Labubu might already be sitting on someone's shelf, moving at 3 a.m., whispering when the lights go out, and refusing to leave when you throw it away. Which doll do you think is worse? Annabelle or Labubu? Drop your answer in the comments. I'll pin the best one. That was Labubu versus Annabelle. Which doll is worse? One is trapped forever. The other is in circulation, waiting for the next person to bring it home. Subscribe for more real horror stories every week. And if you're still here, you're one of us, the ones who stay until the very end.